This video details some of the issues that we've had with the Z-Spars mast that was installed on our 2021 Leopard 45. It shows the implications of the damage that was caused by Leopard, Robertson and Kane and their various contractors, and I guess the lengths that we're still going through to try and get this resolved in Europe. Some of the issues that you're going to see are common between our mast and the mast of a similarly aged Leopard 45, so obviously we can't say as to whether there are other Leopards out there that are also having this issue, but it's definitely possible. These issues, some of them are very expensive and time consuming to rectify, even if you're doing the work yourselves. And we do have, I guess, a benefit in that Trent does have a background in electrical and Tynan has the physicality to go up and down the mast multiple times in a day. But yeah, it's still time consuming, still expensive and still extremely stressful.
What if you can hear it slapping in the mast? You can hear it, right?
I can't see a way of actually securing it. The wind instrument failed. So now we've got no wind reading. So you've just got to kind of guess what the wind is and look up manually, which is fantastic. Said no one ever.
So we've been having a little bit of trouble with our Raymarine, so we're going to run a new cable. That's why Tynan's headed up the mast.
So as of yesterday, we've just started having the right hand side of the radar display false positives. It's a completely fine day with no more sea clutter on one side than the other. My issue is it's only just started doing it since yesterday, and it's only just doing it right here in that one spot on the radar, and resetting the system, powering the system down, etc., doesn't do anything.
Okay, yeah. Trent.
What?
Is that the whole conduit coming out?
It's just shattered to pieces. Full of it. Huh. This is what we've had to listen to from God knows where in the ocean to here. It's all wedged in there sideways. I don't know how it's all.
Do you want me to get it?
No, I don't know. Like it's a joke. Finding it very difficult to find someone that wants to install a permanent conduit solution in the mast. Because the boat's under warranty and shipyard politics and stuff. I've been wasting hours of my time trying to get this mast sorted. So what you saw when I was just watching the original edit was the bits that were stuck in the bottom of the mast. But after the mast was articulated sideways and moved around, more pieces fell out. And there's still pieces jammed in there. There's still pieces stuck up in the mast. And this is partially why I'm having trouble finding people that want to deal with this now. So, I'm a new owner of a boat. I've had the radar faulting out, and I've had the wind sensor completely fail because the person that installed it drilled a screw through the just near the top of the plug that the wind sensor goes into, that it hangs off, damaged the cable there. Now, that's what the official Raymarine report says, that the cable was damaged. So this is where someone's drilled through the conduit in the mast, which quite feasibly could have hit the cables inside, The cables are still in there because we've not got to pulling them all out yet. But someone's drilled through. This is just the 2 pieces that fell out the bottom. So we've not fished any out to actually look at the extent. But I mean, that's just these 2. And I mean, the angle of that drill. I've contacted Z-Spar. But I mean, Z-Spar goes, why have the conduits all fallen off and broken? And then Z-Spar goes, that's the shipyard's fault. It's through and through here. So whatever was in there, it's like they were trying to get, it's like they were trying to get a high score. Like from here. It's quite incredible, really. And these clip on, so these are not fixings or anything else.
So what were they drilling for?
I don't know. Bitcoin. Like, I don't know what to say. Like it's not a few. Like, they missed a bit here, I think, and then they missed a little bit there too. I think they maybe could have tried a bit harder. Maybe it's to keep the cables dry to help with evaporation.
Cooling? Air cooling?
It's just, there's no words. If someone said to me, you'd be here after buying a new boat. If I owned a big company and I had as much money in it as, like, I just want to see young people succeed. Like the cost to a company like Leopard's owned by an investment fund, KKR or something, like Travelodge, no, but like the amount of money, like, and you think you'd at least look after people that live on the boats, like live aboard catamarans, like it's your home, like because somebody's done this and done other things, we've got to sit on a hardstand in 35-degree heat, suffering and trying to get it fixed.
Our conduit looks like a pan flute.
Yeah, but this is just the 2 that fell out.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so the factory Raymarine wind sensor. We were told in Gibraltar that there's supposed to be a rubber ring around here, which is on this one. It's a part of the cap. That rubber ring goes around the bottom and the bit pushes against it, but it's supposed to make it have some form of IP rating. This didn't have it. It didn't have the rubber, it was just screwed straight on. This area here, where it's crushed through, was pushed between the rest of the cables and the actual mast itself, because the grommet that they put in isn't actually on the metal, it's just sitting off. So this cable is sitting on that corner, just chafing through, and that's the outcome. So that's why our wind sensor died in the middle of the ocean. But then there's also this grommet that was put in, just does not seem to be UV rated, because it is just cracking and falling apart, splitting. So I'm going to pull this grommet out and see if the rest of the cables are fine. The conduit inside the mast separated and was just swinging around with all the cables inside smashing away, and you can see when the mast was stepped, lots of pieces, big and small, of conduit fell out of the bottom. We suspect it's because when they've installed these steps and the clutches and other assortment of things on the mast, that they've drilled into the conduit, which has caused it to break. All the cables were just swinging and just slapping inside the mast, which wasn't that great. So the deck light was installed on a horrific angle, which was quite visible, so we've taken it off and upgrading to our own light. In the surveyor's report, that's how much it stood out. He saw it walking around. I mean, if it stands out, I don't know how it passes QC, if you can see it from the floor of the boat. And you look up and your deck light's like this. Another issue with the mast was the track that the cars for the mainsail run up and down on when you're raising it and lowering it. None of them were lined up or flush to one another, so there'd be a step up in between them or a lip or a large gap. So when you'd lift the sail up, it'd catch it. You'd have to drop it, lift it again to try and get over the lip, or when the sail was up and you were trying to lower it on the way down, it'd catch the lip and stay up, and you'd have to go up the mast and jerk the sail up and down to try and get it over the lip. So when the mast was taken down in Cape Town, it was an issue that was raised, and we were told that it was fixed and that it had been dealt with and that it wasn't a problem. But then the night before the mast was going back up, we went and had a look over the mast and noticed that nobody had even taken the tracks out and that it hadn't been dealt with. So it would have been 10 o'clock at night at the Royal Cape Marina. We had to take all the tracks out of the mast, and on the floor with an angle grinder and a straight edge, grind and sand all the edges back so that they were parallel and flush with one another, and there was no large steps. We had to do this with an R&C employee that just so happened to be there, who gave us a hand. So yeah. Oh, these cables are just pulled so tight around here and there, and cable tied to this saddle, but they're all getting crushed around the hole, and the hole wasn't smooth or anything like that. Again, like the bottom, it was just a sharp edge. So I mean, I've had to sit here with a file and sandpaper and round the edges so it stops chafing through cable and cutting the insulation on the cables. So that was fun. I mean, my masthead is just, yeah, sharp edges, cutting ropes, stuff not Duralacked, bolts stripped, like the threads on the bolts just stripped because they've been over tightened or they haven't had any lubricant on them when they've been torqued. So yeah, we get to sit in the Italian sun fixing all these things that should be warranty, but we're just not getting any response from R&C. So we can't wait forever, we've got to fix it ourselves. So now I've got a neck like a leather handbag.
But we're trying to work out why this cable, which caused the total fail of the wind sensor in open ocean, we're trying to work out why this is jammed in and why half these cables are abraded. But what we've just discovered now, if you come down here, is that all of the cables coming out of the bottom of the respective conduits, which are running in the corners of the mast inside of here and down here, all of the conduits, if you look down in there where the light is, right, so there's a conduit there that's broken off. Then you've got conduits up here in varying levels of degrading. Now I've just twisted all of these cables. So they had these cables here twisted around these cables here, which were twisted, they were all twisted together. Now I'm running them out their respective holes in alignment with their respective conduits. They've got all the cables in, and then they've somehow managed to pull all the cables out of these random two holes and cross them and twist them around each other, and then reef on them and pull on them, which is, aside from when they've drilled these in and just punched holes with a drill through the conduit, which you can actually see in the side of these cables if you come here. Right there, and then running up there, there's all cut marks. And all of these line up with different rivet holes perfectly to the millimeter. With all of these, like, why should a new boat owner have to sit here sick with stress with a week left on their visa because there's so much busted on this boat, having to unwrap a disgraceful nest of cables in a mast on a new boat because they've wrapped all the cables and constricted them around each other and pulled them into halyards so that they're burnt through the outside of the cable. I've just pushed all these back in with him and been pulling them all out and undoing all the twists and all the kinks. Like, look at the state of this thing. How twisted and kinked. Like, it's all the way through the outer insulation. The problem is that you've got a combination of holes being punched through the conduit, which is just inexcusable. To do it properly is not hard. This grey one's not meant to be here. Take that out. So this is the perfect example. This is the one we haven't done. Here's a perfect example. It's like they were on a mission to cross them all over, which means they're pulling the conduit off the wall of the mast instead of running down the mast and just coming out the hole as the designer intended. So what you've seen here is the absurdity of pulling this cable out of that hole, which pulls that conduit off that wall.
So if you look there, see that red dot now? That red dot's literally on a pop rivet that they've blown into the side of the cables with, and it's exploded that conduit in half. It was quite spectacular. And then it's obviously only had a little bit attaching it, and then the movement in the ocean's caused the rest of the broken bit around this side to break off. But like, you can see that rivet right there under the laser, just exploded that. But there's no way now, without pulling these cables out, to see if there's any core damage under the cables.
But if you look here,
see that conduit there and that conduit there, those two, they align with these two T-pieces that are on the mast, right? And they had conduit coming all the way down them on the T-piece. So these rivets here that are under the laser, they've all contributed, these ones here as well, have all contributed to exploding these conduit and damaging these cables. And I mean, who pays for the damage to all the cables now?
we physically don't have time, unfortunately. Dog hair in my mouth.
From you.
We physically don't have time, unfortunately, to do what should be done when the mast's taken off that nobody wanted to work on, and pull all the cables out, run draw lines back in with the cables coming out, or a draw line or whatever, various draw lines, back in, and then run all the, physically check all the cables. But what disgusts me is we're just trying to look like right here, you've got on this one piece of conduit here, you've got just this single piece, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential points where a drill's gone through and through the conduit. 7-ish, might be more. Where a drill's gone through the conduit, yeah, you can see the scratch marks on the other side, inside.
Yeah,
you can see the scratch marks inside if you look through the hole. That potentially could have cut, damaged, or degraded the cores, or cut through to the cores so that they corrode. And you look in here, and there's an exposed core on the radio cable, on the copper radio cable. Like, it's just disgusting. Like, anywhere you can see yellow Duralac in that mast, the yellow compound, is something that they've done.
Who installed the steps on the side?
Well, Robertson and Kane, presumably, or somebody to do with Robertson and Kane or the factory, because the mast's put together to a certain extent and then shipped. And then you've got, so if you look in here, everything that's yellow has been done after the mast was delivered, because that's Duralac. That'd be my assumption.
If this level of carelessness has happened to our mast by Robertson and Kane, there's a fair assumption.
And the Leopard over there, parked between the palm trees, had the exact same problem, and that's just the 2 Leopards that I've looked inside the mast of. And people are scared to speak up because they think they won't get they think they might not get paid out for their warranty. Yeah?
Yeah, go on.
It's stuck on something. So we have to replace the radio cable because it's never properly worked. You want me to pull it?
Yeah, go on.
And this will possibly explain why it's never worked properly. but now the cable's getting caught on broken pieces of conduit inside the mast.
They've all just slid up. They're just sliding up and down the mast, but we can't get the cables out of them, the conduits, because they're all split.
Okay.
Oh wow.
What?
Oh wow. Oh, that's an interesting story. That's really interesting.
Just when we think we're at the end of it, what's the newest story?
Well, if you look in there now, there's a new development in the absolute disgraceful construction of this mast. Somehow, when they've pulled this wind sensor cable in, that conduit must have already been broken because it's wrapped around what seems like a broken conduit.
Think about the fact that it's snaking around it.
Yeah, it's wrapped around it and broken, and the conduit's broken, but it's never. This has never been out. No, it's just
the evolution of stupidity.
Yeah. How? Look at his face. How do you do that?
How are we gonna?
How when you put in the original
How
wind
the hell
sensor?
are we gonna fix that?
How when they put in the original wind sensor, did they manage to shatter that conduit and wrap it around the conduit? Yeah, dude, just undo it.
Is there a bit? Do you want me to tie a bit of rope to the end?
It can't be used. No, it can't be used as a pull line because it's wound around the broken conduit. Oh, here we go. That was it. My assumption was correct.
Here we go.
It was this one before he let it go was constricting the conduit. No, you get to see the big reveal now. You'll see it from there. It's a big reveal, and I can unwrap this black cable now. From what I got to listen to.
Oh my god.
How's that? So it's probably been like that from the beginning.
So the conduit's been split from here, the cable's been wedged in it.
Look. Oh no, look at this. Look at this.
It'd be funny if it wasn't
look.
like...
Come out. Is this
Is
recording?
it cut through?
Is this recording?
Yeah, it's cut through.
Is this recording?
Yeah. Holy moly!
This is what you get. This is what.
I wonder why our wind sensor died. I wonder why you had no
it's really,
data.
I can't believe we got to Cape Verde.
I can't believe you got to Cape Verde either. I'm glad you did.
Look.
I don't know how you would have done it otherwise. Oh my god.
Oh, what's this? This looks like. Oh wow.
Oh, I don't like it when you say that.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Just
What's this
more
one?
drill holes.
How did they manage this one? Yeah.
Fun.
How?
They were having fun. They hadn't drilled a hole in it. Oh my god. God, I can't.
I think this is like one of those musical instruments they use at hippie festivals.
Well, between that and the pan flute over there, you can make a band out of our mast.
Funny.
Quick, Tynan, pull your bit out the mast so you can fight him back.
Yeah. No, this is what we had. We had to sleep with earplugs in the cabins from the deck.
Gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, it gives you PTSD. No, it's like who remunerates you for psychological trauma? Like, I'm only using 2 fingers. This is what I got to listen to from Cape Verde. Inside the mast with the cables in it. This can only come out once, and we obviously didn't do this. This is the factory wind sensor cable, so we're going to go for a high score. So the actual failure point, as per the warranty paperwork from Raymarine and the observation of the Raymarine technician, was where the cable was pinched through both layers of insulation to one of the cores at the plug point. Now, the actual failure point, what I think, is this, which we found down here, where it had rubbed through and broken through the blue core. So you got 1, 2, 3. There's a nick through the insulation there from down here somewhere. Just through the outer insulation. Now this awesome piece of work where they've forced it through what must have been, as you saw in the previous video, already broken conduit at the point of installation, that they've just forced it through, which then caused it to wrap around another piece of conduit and just make a giant constricting mess, because as cable wraps and you put tension on it, it's obviously going to constrict what's inside of it. So this amazing piece of workmanship here, which is cut through into the red core and bridged across to the shield, magnificent. So we're going to continue the fun. We've never seen this before. It's the first time it's come out. Almost through. Oh no, not quite. I saw a bit of metal in there. I thought it might have been through the outer insulation. No, we won't count this one. We'll stay at 4 because it's only extreme unnatural wear. But it's not through the outer insulation, so we'll give him a chance.
The metal is probably the swarf from the hole above.
From where they sent the rivet. We're trying to get the radio cable out, because one of the drill, when we're looking at that end, the drill's gone through the into one of the cores. So Tisha's having a bit of a breakdown because after 2 and a bit months of 36-degree heat on a hardstand, she's starting to discover what our last God knows how many months has been like. Yeah. So, what do you got to say, Tish?
I'm so tired. It's just like every day is just something else, and we work from 6 o'clock in the morning until midnight, and we're not getting anywhere because every time we think we've got a handle on it, we find something else. Like, we were just supposed to be pulling out a cable, which we discovered yesterday was broken, only to discover that there's 7 cuts in a cable that you rely on, like you need your radio. And I'm so tired. I'm so tired of not being able to sleep because I'm trying to sort this out. I'm so tired of having to go back and forth with Robertson and Kane, who basically seem to act like they don't believe us that there's a problem. Like, you've had this boat for 14 months. It took you 5 months longer than it ever should have to get to Europe. And 14 months later, what have we got to show with it? Like, it's on a hardstand. The mast is in pieces. We're gonna have to slap the boat back together and go somewhere else and do more fixing, and then go somewhere else after that when that visa runs out and fix it more. And like, they don't give you the money to fix it. They don't offer to fix it. They don't offer to send you a new one. What do they do? Like, why would you buy a new boat if that's the support you get? You buy a new boat so that you can have something that you can maybe do a bit of customization, but it should just be able to get in the water and sail away.
All these conduits are shattered. Yeah. Like I can't re-pull through them, so what is this? What do they do?
Don't even try and figure it out.
Well, there's another broken one coming out now, so we can have a closer look. This one.
You pull in?
No.
Alright.
Is the cable caught in it?
These two are like jammed together. One's half munched into the other one.
Fantastic.
I don't know what to do about this because these two are like pushed into each other, which none of the others were. jam so hard into each other for no reason.
You want me to pull where you hold?
This one's not on the mast anyway. They're not. They're just bouncing around in there. I can't make sense. No,
So
there's nothing to see.
we're still trying to sort it out. I know Trent said this in another video, but we try to make the best of it and, you know, have fun and have a laugh as much as we can. But it's definitely a lot harder some days than it is others.
So this one,
Another drill hole.
no, it's not. It's probably, well, I think it's a halyard has cut through it. Something's burnt through that. But this is the worst. This is the worst bit here.
Another split. Surely not.
No, I think it's just a weak point. If you look at this end. See here? There's a natural
Weak point.
weak point. Yeah. I just
Just broken.
I don't know what's going on here. The problem is they're all detached from the mast inside. They're not clipped on.
So we don't know.
They just fought. They look like they were clipped on, but they were just hanging because the mast's on its back. If you look at this one, it's not even orientated. This one's not. They're not even. If you look down there now, they're not even orientated correctly to be clipped on. But they were just laying. They were just laying
Yeah.
with the back down. The problem we've got now is that's burned through that. That's burnt through that piece as well. So as you can see here.
Oh my goodness.
As you can see here, this one was actually laying up this way, but somehow something's burnt through it there. I don't know whether it's a halyard's cut through it. I don't really know what's going on. I'm new to masts, but see, there's no splits in this piece, so they're not slotting them over each other on
But
purpose.
look at this. That's never going to hold.
Well, it wasn't on.
Yeah.
It's all distorted, you can see. Look down it.
Yeah.
It's stuffed, but this bit here is odd. It's all burnt and flexed.
Be interested to get the riggers'
No,
thoughts on this
the
when he
problem I've
comes.
got now is I pulled a draw line in, but without conduit there, like I don't know. Like, we can put all our new cables in now, and
What do we do?
no, and then
How do we protect them?
after we sail somewhere, it just cuts through them, and then you're back to square one again, and they go, well, that's your fault. Like, but this is what you're dealing with. This is what's inside our mast after one delivery.
Yeah.
Like, just garbage. And it's just completely split open, and this one and the one, there's another piece left in there. Is there, or is that it?
Pass it here.
This one was just floating around. There were two pieces in the middle that just totally disconnected. One bit higher up was still clipped on, the middle bits were just, that you can see they've been hitting halyards and just cut through. Why is this?
Have you seen how much we've got now?
No, there's still busted conduit in there. Yes.
Do you want to take a break? Go and get something to eat and drink.
No, I've nearly got this.
Okay. Oh my god, we still haven't got this cable out. Forgot why we were here, we've been here so long.
No, this here, just so you can get it all in my video. This is why we're taking the white out, because it's cut through.
Oh, so we're almost at the bottom.
Well, it's cut
Unless
through
it's
that
another
outer shielded section, and we don't get very. Our radio reception has been extremely poor since
Yeah.
test sailing to Namibia and back for tax. It's never worked very well. It's always had extremely short range and really limited range,
And this isn't even in the claim that we submitted to Robertson and Kane. So now what? We've got to do another one.
Oh no, this will just
Get ignored.
this will just go on YouTube. Public service announcement.
If you don't align the reef in the boom perfectly, so someone actually has to be up on the deck to put in a reef. You can't put in a reef. You can't put in a reef perfectly from the helm. Even if you mark your lines and stuff, they stretch. Things happen, and the line will cut through because they don't finish off the alloy properly on the same as the head of the mast. It's not round, it's all sharp. So Tynan's going to smooth that off. It's just absurd. Like, they should just manufacture it better. Like, you might go, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you're a retired couple or something and you're in open ocean and your deck's soaking wet and you have to put a reef in, people have different ways around it, and we tried marking the rope, but then the rope stretches and then you're in then it's chafing again. Like, oh, we use Dynama then. It's like, I mean, we got all new Dynama, but the crappy clutches, these Lumar clutches, they just chew your ropes out. They chew the sheath off your rope. So we followed the advice of quite a few people and put the spin lock completely aluminium clutches in. Which brings me to my last point, is that the Code Zero option, it's some amount of money, the Code Zero option, and you don't even get a clutch with it. Like, you don't get clutches for your Code Zero, so your Code Zero has to occupy a winch. Normally with the option, I just know, but I feel like I've got to mention it because it's so cheap, and so the way they do it, the sail seems to be quite good itself. The sail actually seems to be reasonably robust and decent, and like more solid than other people's ones I've seen. Just feeling it, looking at it, but the setup, like, for the sake of two extra clutches. So my point is looking at other boats in a similar price range. But I mean, you're taking this as quite an expensive option. They should have some facility to run the Code Zero back to the helm. Now, if someone said to me at point of sale, you'll get no clutches and you'll have to pull out another line to set the Code Zero up, and someone will have to be on the front, one or two people will have to be on the front to pull the Code Zero in and out every time you want to use it, and they told me these facts that I'm telling you, I wouldn't have bought the Code Zero for the price that I paid. I would have gone to an external company, I would have paid them the same money or less, and they would have done it properly from the beginning, and I would have had two clutches, I would have had all the lines run back to the helm like any intelligent person would do. I would have nice plastic sleeves on the railings that want to chafe through the Code Zero lines, so it just spins on the railing, those plastic protective sleeves. I'd have all these things that are just basic common sense things on the Code Zero. And not to mention that, the first thing that happens when you buy one and you ask anyone is they go, you need to make it 2-to-1 and you need to put a pulley on it because the way it comes out's crap. So there's that. In fact, pretty much the only thing that's worth getting for the money on the options list is the actual sail itself, which seems to be not too bad because it's probably a bit more heavy duty than a normal Code Zero, so newbies can bang it around a bit more, which is cool. But the whole rest of it is just pointless. It's absolute waste of time. Like I just wanted to add this feedback to the rigging video because it's an annoyance to me to have to sit there and install clutches and install stuff and screw around with things, and that dumb little drum that comes on the bottom of the Code Zero is already like, what if we had a grub screw fall out of it?
Yeah.
Like it's used for probably a cumulative week and it's falling apart, that shitty little drum that they put on the bottom of it. Like, it's flexed, like stuff falling out. No, but this one annoys me. Like, you buy a new boat and you buy this little drum that's the manual unwind and wind up for the Code Zero, and it's just falling apart.
So what have you got to do as a new owner? You've got to get all these things that they give you, completely dismantle them, and add Loctite. Because whoever they get them from doesn't give enough of a shit to put things together properly. Like, it's absurd. What do we have to rebuild on that stupid thing that's falling apart? Lucky we had spares.
The furler on the bottom.
It just dropped off and it all just dropped off, fell apart, spun around and bent because
the grub screw fell out, and then the furler slipped on itself. So as soon as there was any tension on the sail when you were furling it back up, it'd just unfurl again halfway through. So you'd be out the front for 20 minutes trying to furl the code 0 up.
But what also happened was that when that thing dropped and rotated, in the instant that it dropped and you were mid-pull, it's munched the rope in it, bent the entire thing, we had to fix it. Like, that's warranty, like, that's just crap. Like, the amount of money, I was just saying, the amount of money you pay for that code 0 option, and what do you get for it? A bunch of problems. It's like you get a Lego box to build something, and you only get half the Lego pieces, and you gotta go scavenger hunt for the other half. Like, it's just, dude, like, there's no words, is there? Like, I was just saying, like, no clutches, no running it back to the helm. The drum fell apart. It needed to have a block put on top so it functioned properly. Yeah. Like, well, I said, what's left with your option that you have, a sail?
Yeah.
Like,
they basically give you the bare minimum to make it work.
And the little bracket, there's a little tri-bracket at the bottom that goes down to the things. It's already wearing through the little bracket, and the surveyor was like, the bracket's not adequate. It's like, well, that bracket's supplied from, who is it? Was it Z-Spar you worked out?
Yes, Z-Spar provide that bracket.
And
the bowsprit.
Like, yeah, this is a problem. We can sell you another one.
As you've seen in this video, we have done a lot of work on our mast, and that's not because we wanted to. Because of that and other ongoing warranty issues, we have essentially missed most of the Mediterranean summer season. We've been in Italy for almost 3 months now. Our visa is about to run out. Now, Leopard and Robertson and Kane knew well in advance that we were going to be here because we had to come, because there are numerous components on this boat that are new, that are failing and make it unseaworthy. In all this time, they have not offered any assistance or repair procedures. So we've been left again to fix the poor workmanship on this boat. So we've had comments on previous videos expressing their disbelief at how Robertson and Kane and Leopard have handled this, or our problems, or their lack of handling. From what we've seen, there seems to be a bit of an attitude at Robertson and Kane that each boat is entitled to a certain amount of warranty attempts. And you reach your quota of attempts, whether it's successful or not, that's all you get. We have spoken to other owners who've encountered this kind of attitude. Some have gone through the legal system or relied on government legislation to get their warranty issues rectified. Others have just given up and fixed it themselves. Robertson and Kane and Leopard really need to step up and support their customers. Not to be dramatic, but you know, when you buy one of these catamarans, you're trusting this company with your life. They advertise as a blue water cruising sailing vessel. Before we even bought this vessel, we told them of our intentions to take it into very remote areas. So, regarding the mast, the main issue with the interior of the mast is that the permanent damage done to the conduit inside and the misplacement of the rivets means it can't simply be repaired by quickly replacing parts. Our mast has been like this since construction, so this poor workmanship and other various examples of poor workmanship have been an ongoing issue with our boat since before handover. Now, me saying that some of these issues go back to before handover, it's easy to say, well, why pay for the hull then? You should get it rectified first. But the thing is that while these issues might have been there, they're not all evident until you've actually sold the boat away and you're using it as they've advertised it can be used. And by that point, you know, a lot of people have given up their housing, either selling it, renting it out, ending a rental contract. You've uprooted your entire life and gone to where the boat is with the intention of moving aboard. So there's a lot of trust that you place in the manufacturer that you're going to be able to move into your new home. And if you don't pay for the hull, it is in the contract that they can sell it out from under you. This alone would lead us to suggest that it's probably best to do the contract and collect the boat from within the country that you're from, where you have legal rights to rectification. Manufacturers need to realise that outside of charter boats, the trust that consumers place in them is why they are continuing to be able to be successful as a shipbuilder. After the shipyard here in Italy, who does work based on the instruction of Robertson and Kane, failed to find a rigger, it was left to us to try and find a rigger who could rectify the mast. We went looking for a mast specialist who could rectify the issues. We spoke to riggers, we spoke to mariners, we spoke to people who specialise in yacht repairs. We searched everywhere from 2 hours drive south of Venice all the way along the Adriatic coast to Croatia, places like Rijeka and Pula, with no success. Techno Rigging, who's the company that took our mast off and are going to be putting it back on, they didn't want to do it. Velamania, who are a well-respected company in Italy with very experienced riggers, came to have a look. They heard about our situation and actually drove 40 minutes from their office to come and have a look to see if they could help rectify the problem. After at least 30 minutes investigating the mast, looking inside using a torch and seeing as best he could what was going on, he said it was a very complicated job that would take at least 7 business days. And given that they didn't know the full extent of what was going on inside, he would not be able to give us an accurate quote, so it was basically an open-ended quote. He also said it would be at least 2 months before they could actually dedicate the time that he felt would be needed for the job, and obviously that doesn't work because we have to leave Italy and we can't come back for a certain number of months due to the visa. Velamania also said that the job would require them to thoroughly check all the cables, remove the damaged cables and remove the damaged and unsuitable conduit. We had no repair procedure or paperwork from Robertson and Kane, so that would mean they have to split the mast by removing all the fixed rigging and drilling out all of the rivets and then redesign the conduit layout so that it could avoid the lines inside and would remain attached, while also avoiding the multitude of rivets that had been put in the mast, especially those near the T-sections that contributed to the failure of the original conduit. Now, Leopard 45s have a bent mast, and the 2 sections are joined by numerous rivets that are an essential part of the structural integrity of the mast and the rigging. So drilling these rivets out and having to split the mast, it's absolutely something that shouldn't happen. It's essentially impossible to do this job without the guidance of the manufacturer. Now we're preparing to go back in the water with half the conduit broken and fallen out, and cables that are likely to incur further damage, because with months of warning and 3 months of hardstand time, Robertson and Kane and Leopard didn't do anything to help. Something I think we need to make clear is that when looking at this issue and how we've been treated within the warranty process for our Leopard 45, is that you have to separate Leopard and Robertson and Kane. Despite the fact that they have an incredibly complicated business relationship and all of that, the reality is that up until now, Leopard have attempted, and certain Leopard staff members have attempted to be really quite helpful. They have shown empathy for our situation. Some of them have quite a bit of pride in the brand that they work for on the boats and helping people achieve their dream. So they have shown some levels of support that we appreciate. But then you've got Robertson and Kane. So because, again, our boat has had so many warranty issues, in the past we've given the information to Leopard, they've passed it on to Robertson and Kane, and then a team of people in Robertson and Kane, I guess, go through the claims. I don't know if they look at the evidence, because some of the things we've heard are quite interesting on their views on whether leaking windows on a boat makes something seaworthy or not. Didn't know that was up for debate, but sure. But in any case, the responses that you get from Robertson and Kane seem to suggest that they don't empathise with our situation. They don't seem to understand that this is our home, this is where we live. I don't have anywhere else to live. This is where I live. So these issues, these warranty issues, they're not like, oh, it affects my weekend pleasure time as a millionaire. Like, that's not us. This is where we live. We put everything into this. If I go home now, I've got nothing. I will be moving in with my parents as a woman in her late 20s. Tyne will be moving in with his mum and dad. Trent will be moving in with his auntie. Like, we don't have any... Hello.
Rose is sad she will be homeless.
Rose, you will be a homeless puppy on the street.
Oh, so cute.
So cute. Yeah, I just wanted to make it clear because obviously these boats, they are recognisable as being a Leopard. But the problem and the build quality is not Leopard's fault. Something I feel like I need to make clear as well is that this YouTube channel, while I feature on it a lot, it was actually started by Tynan. He thought it would be a cool way to potentially make some money online, but also share our journey because it's interesting. Like, we live on a boat, we're exploring the world. But then he went through 14 months of warranty, and he filmed a lot in Cape Town. And I think when you've been through that kind of experience when it was completely supposed to be something else, it almost becomes like a moral thing to share it, because we wish that other people had shared this and we had seen it before we bought this boat. He's broke now because he hasn't been able to work. And when someone that is such a good friend of yours has gone through all of that, of course I'm going to help him. Of course I'm going to help him edit and do things, because it's not right what's happened. Obviously, I would assume Robertson and Kane in particular are very unhappy with what we're sharing. Of course they are. People don't like to be called on poor workmanship. They don't like to be publicly called out when they are doing the wrong thing by people, because they don't like to look bad. We don't care. Everything we have shared is true. We have evidence for everything. We're not going to put things up that we've made up, because that doesn't serve anyone. We just want to share the truth. The truth is that this has happened to us. The truth is there is a lot we haven't shared yet. And if the truth is that they're not happy with it, again, we don't care.
You've got nothing to lose really at this point, do you?
No.
Yeah.
I do think this has been said before by another YouTuber. Sue me, I'm a broke millennial.
Oh yeah.